Hey guys, it is Future Tiles here, and I really wanted to do this little intro into my episode for today because there is so many points that I speak on, and it's divided throughout the day, obviously, as you guys will hear. And because I'm talking about so many things about us as being like a woman and what makes us that, which also then filters into our relationships, I did want to summarize a little bit of my points on what I want you guys to take away from this episode. It is going to make sense when you actually listen, but I just wanted to jump in here. So when I talk about feminine, being a feminine embodied woman, I'm talking about self-expression, and I also talk about, feminine and masculine energies and how foreign that some people might feel that is, but also how society and how social media makes it seem. And I really wanted to understand and regroup there that when I talk about all that stuff, it's about a feeling state, how you feel within your body. Feminine energy is relaxed and things like that. I also wanted to touch on the fact that sometimes we can be in the doing energy, which is masculine, because masculine is structure. Okay, will make sense in the episode, I promise. And so when I'm talking about how mothering is masculine, you're not a man. It's also just about the fact that you love your kids, but you're doing so much for them. Then you're working, then you're doing the housework, then you're being partner to your husband. We have so much of that, and that puts us in masculine mode, right? So I want to regroup there and say that being masculine doesn't make you a man. It just makes you that you're always in doing, and we've got to try to help ourselves by doing things consistently in our life to shift that and put us back into a relaxed state, which is femininity and feeling that free essence. I'm not saying that you can't be feminine being a mom, because you definitely can. We have moments where it's like, I'm so proud of them. I love them. I appreciate them. Like, oh my gosh, like they're just playing so nicely right now. That is the love and the femininity that we feel. But majority of the time, when we're in our cortisol state of doing, everything, society, blah, 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 it actually pushes us more in the structure and masculine that we do feel not safe in our body, which then also takes me to when I talk about how I was explaining struggles with crying. Very common that we don't feel safe in ourselves to cry and express our emotion. And it is really sad because that can feel very vulnerable and new, especially with how we've been brought up or what we've experienced in our life. A lot of us have never felt safe at some point, whether we're a child, whether we're a teen, or whether in our adult life, to express emotion. And we carry that throughout our life. Hence why I reference my episode when I talk about trauma/exposure. Go back and listen to that. It's about creating more compassion for your life. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. But anyway, and so I talk a little bit about that. So I just wanted to summarize that, about creating safety in yourself. And it's all about feeling those emotions more, feeling and actually having those feeling states, or allowing yourself to express. We don't allow ourselves, we shun it. We go, it's too much to cry, it's too much to do this, because we see crying as weakness. So this filters out into how I was explaining in my relationship, where I do have this push and pull dynamic in my relationship with self-expression and crying. So when I'm then regrouping at the end part of the episode with the whole communication, this is like such a big crucial point. So I don't really need to sum up so much the communication relationships, because I will dedicate an episode on all about communication. It's not just about what people say and do. It's also how they act. So like with facial cues, with how they're breathing, how their stance is, how their body language tells you if they're irritable or, really you're making them feel uncomfortable, things like this. This all impacts at like a micro level on why we feel the way we feel. And it actually causes us to create different stories that doesn't need to be there, which I will do a whole different episode on. But I just wanted to clarify all these parts of trying to not shame yourself for being a woman. A proper embodied woman is actually having emotions. If you want your woman to love you and appreciate you and experiencing all the joy and happiness, you've got to handle her when she's feeling angry, sad, and all those emotions too, because that's polarity in life. And I do really want to say this too. I do believe that men these days also need to play a part with relationships on how to sort of step up a little bit and be more open and receptive to try to understand your partner's needs when it comes to emotions. I do find a lot of men these days don't understand or are not willing to try to understand. And this is also the problem we're having as a relational dynamic. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to jump in here and just, clarify on those sort of things. But I really hope you guys enjoy the episode. But yeah, a full communication episode is coming. I just wanted to clarify, but I hope you guys like the episode. It's a lot, so definitely listen to it over and over. But I'll let you guys jump into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I feel like I start my episodes like that all the time. I don't know. I always start them like that and I don't know, maybe it just doesn't, it starts to kind of over time now just not feel authentic, even though I'm like, yeah, hey everyone. I just feels like a robot. Anyway, I hope you are having a beautiful day. I really do. I'm just probably going to leave all this in because this is actually authenticity and that's what I'm really strongly about. Okay, so today's episode, I'm actually talking more about us as women and about our self-expression and about us and a lot of things. I'm talking about us as a woman and what it means to be a woman, a true embodied woman, because I am sick of society and I'm sick of people fucking being shit in the world. I've had a question where it's like, wow, your episodes have become more relaxed. I don't say it's like bad or anything, but you're not so on. Now, it's because I really want to come across authentic. I sometimes feel like if a camera's on us or us that are content creators, or if I'm in front of a microphone and I have my laptop open in my editing, I feel like, oh my gosh, we've got to perform a certain way, when really it doesn't have to be like that. And I really want to capture more about like, I am a person. I'm not a robot. I'm not someone who just reads a script. So I've kind of let up a lot because I'm not here to be like, I am this business professional person. No, I'm here to deliver mindset and communication, how we can better ourselves, how we can embody certain things. I'm not here to be like, I can, create your business from 0 to 100K months like this. I'm not that person. Right. So I'm like, I don't need to try and sound like that person. And I really started becoming inauthentic. And I just really took the road of, I'm just going to be me. And for those that want to stick around, will want to listen to my podcast. I can't make people be here. And I just know it's going to touch the right people who need to hear this stuff, because it's funny, no one's ever going to tell you how proud of they are of you. No one will ever say that. I have had recently 2 of my friends say to me, I wouldn't be so self-aware. I wouldn't be this. And I'm like, holy shit. I did not know that I inspired you. You're my friend. I even had a few people that listened to my podcast. I didn't think that they would listen. I was like, oh my God, you listen? I had no idea. So no one's ever going to say, oh, hey, Tales, you inspire me. We've just got to always believe that we are, because no one's ever going to say it. And that's okay. But it was really like, holy shit, I do inspire you. Yeah, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be like in this way of thinking today. And I wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be doing this. And I was like, oh my God, it's just a testament to the impact you have around in your vicinity. We do feel that, like I was talking about, the inauthenticity. I've got to be someone so they like me, or I got to be, and it might not even consciously be that for us. Like, we're like, oh, I don't think like that. No way. But subconsciously is something that you don't control. And that could actually be an underlining thing that is playing out in your life. Like, oh, subconsciously, that's what I think. When really, that's actually not the real truth, right? But subconsciously, that's how we could be running. And that's how our thoughts go into our actions, right? So we have thinking thoughts. It then filters into our body, which is our nervous system, and that's our feeling, and then our actions, right? So they are coincided within each other. Okay. So we think of something, we put feeling to the thought, and then we act accordingly to the feeling with that thought. That's what creates a belief. When we do that over and over, we believe, I'm not worthy enough. So you can be like, I'm not worthy. In your body, you can feel sad and upset and anxious. I don't feel worthy of this relationship, this job, these friends. I don't feel worthy of great things happening to me, whatever it is. And you'll be acting accordingly. So that means that you could be getting into relationships where people don't value you, whether that's personal friendship, co-workers even, because you can become friends with co-workers. It can even filter in like jobs as well. Your boss doesn't value you because you don't stick up for yourself enough. Because you have low self-worth, you're just like, oh yeah, well, I can change this person. Or, well, my friends know best. I'll do what my friends think. And you're always asking for validation, asking for example from them, right? You're not actually making a conscious decision of your own and going with it and being confident in it. You're seeking from everyone else. That's how that works. Okay. For me, I'm actually surprised with some of the friendships that I've had for over 10 years, because they've really seen me come from the person that I used to be to the person that I am now. They've also seen all the shit that I've traveled through in between, but I'm a completely different person. And a lot of them are like, I actually like this version of you better. But then other friends who have fallen off and we're not friends anymore liked the version of me being not standing up for myself, not being honest, not being confident to like, this is where you stand with me. I was always like, oh, whatever you need, whatever you want me to be, whatever you want me to do. That's how I lived. And so that is about life and about understanding. So we can then think like that. And another thing I wanted to talk about is emotions, because my partner struggles with my emotions. Now, not because he can't handle them, it's because he has not had relationships where people express emotion or people around him. He's like, women don't cry. And I was like, really? Because we definitely do. So we got to laugh. So if any men listening, or if you ladies share this with your partner, bless, because some men actually think we don't cry. And I was kind of like, what? Of course we do. It's whether we're safe to cry in front of you or not, actually, is the real thing. And this is where I'm really passionate about men and women understanding each other, even though it's very controversial. But if you want the best relationship, whether friendship, partnership, whatever, like, you've got to be the best version, and you've got to learn to accept people for who they are and to kind of broaden your horizon, have a bit more growth minds, right? And a lot of people struggle with that and don't have that. And so for me, am I with you? Like, I was a bit like, oh, okay. So when I cry, like if I get really upset about something, you're going to literally be like, just stop crying. Now, obviously that is not the case. And so any woman that has felt this, because I know I'm not the only person in the whole entire world and universe has ever felt this. So if this is you or you've experienced this, it's definitely not the fact that they can't handle you. It can come across like that, but it's definitely not. It's because it brings up something for them. So when I cry or express emotion, and because like I'm someone very embodied in like expressing my emotion, because as a true embodied woman, we feel safe in ourselves to express emotion. A lot of us are suppressed to not cry. A lot of us are suppressed to bottle everything in, just pick up and do it. I don't want to cry in front of my kids to traumatize them, when actually crying in front of your kids teaches them that it's okay to cry. Mummy doesn't have it all together, because I sure as shit, one day they'll figure you out. And they're either going to like it or not. And what I mean by that, and how like, holy shit, that seems scary, Talia. What the fuck? How can you say that? I did. I learned the hard way with my parents. I figured them out. Because as a child, they come from love, you come from compassion, you're forgiving, you're pure. They don't know the bad world. So when I grew up to be like, oh my God, my mum isn't like very that nice to my dad, and my dad's not very nice to my mum. Oh, okay. You see people for who they are. Kids figure it out. And by the time they get to a certain age, they figure out and go, I want to be like you, or figure it out and go, I don't want to be like you. Because it's either going to be one or the other. And the more that we can have them see us in our down moments, like, yeah, mummy just needs to have a cry. You're not traumatizing them. You're actually helping them understand that crying is okay. The more that they can see that you don't have it together, the more they're not going to put you on a pedestal and be like, oh, why are you crying? Because you're meant to have it all together. Right? And a lot of us have this lived experience. It's not to lash out at your kids. That's not what I'm saying. It's about having them see you cry. A lot of us grow up being like, I've never seen my mum cry before. Like, I hadn't. The only time I ever saw my mum cry was when my dad died, honest to God. And don't even think I've seen her cry since that, actually. It's really interesting, isn't it? A few of my friends have come to me being like, Talia, I don't feel comfortable to cry. And I'm just like, what? Like, so they actually feel uncomfortable crying. Now, if this is you, no fucking judgment. I actually felt so much compassion for my friend when she told me. I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? She could not feel safe in herself to sit there and cry. She'll cry for a bit. This is too uncomfortable. I can't do this. And she will stop herself. And I feel like a lot of us are like that. And that is really sad because we are meant to create a safe space within us to express ourselves fully. Because like I was saying, we associate feeling to that thought, and those feeling thoughts become our actions. And if you don't feel confident in yourself to stand up for yourself or do certain things, how are you meant to trust that you've got you in life? We can't rely on everyone to be like, oh my God, like a lot of my friends and my partner included, like they don't understand my platform. They love me and they support me, but they don't get it. I think we also get this really distorted where it's like my my friends and my partner don't understand, or they don't have the same opinion, so they mustn't be for me in my life, when that is very much not the case at all. It's not the fact that they're not meant to be in your life. Everyone is allowed to have a difference of opinion. You can support someone and not agree with their choice and not agree with their opinion. That's what makes us human. And that's what makes us beautiful and authentic, because why would you want to have the same opinion as someone else? You're a clone, you're a robot, you have no authenticity, no originality. Who are you if you just are going to agree with everybody? So we get stuck in this loop of, oh, fuck, like I don't have the same opinion, so we mustn't be friends because we're not similar. It's okay to not be the same, or it's okay to not be similar. You're friends for a whole different reason. Like my bestest friend, I didn't like her when I first met her. She listens to this, she'll be fucking laughing. I was like, I don't like this girl. Met working in the salon together because I used to be an ex-hairdresser. And I was just like, I just can't. I'm sorry, not vibing you at all. And it wasn't until the universe decided, no, you're meant to be friends. And we were on this bus ride because we were young. We were 17, 18, I think. Anyway, and so, yeah, we're on the bus ride. Hadn't got our license yet. Yes, I got my license later in life. Anyway, I got my license at 20. Anyway, so I caught the bus and she was on it. And it ended up being the detour bus. So the bus ride was literally an hour. And we sat on this bus. It was Christmas time. The bus was decked out in Christmas and tinsel. And we literally were forced to have a conversation, get to know each other. We ate some chocolate because both of us like decided to have a chocolate binge, talking, getting to know each other. After then, can't live without her. Couldn't imagine my life without her. And we've been friends for like 15 years. How crazy is that? So this is what I mean. You aren't always going to vibe with people. You're not going to have the same opinion. You're meant to be your own person, and that's okay. All right? I just really want everyone to know that. Yeah, anyway, I just think it's very powerful for us to own in our authenticity, and that, there's this whole thing about feminine energy going around and how I can be embodied. And we all know that those of us that have maybe dipped into self-development and we see the term being in a feminine embodiment is feeling free. Now, if your job lights you up and you absolutely love it, you're in your feminine energy because you're like, oh my gosh, I love it. You're in your element, you're in your zone. That is being feminine embodiment. If you're enjoying life with your kids and you're like, oh my God, we're having the best time, that feeling of like, oh my God, this is so freeing and I love it, you're a feminine embodiment. When you're having a date night or I don't know, in bed with your partner and the kids are all in bed and you're just having the best connecting time, feminine embodiment. You don't need to put on dresses. You don't need to put on a lipstick. You don't need to go do a meditation. You don't need to go swim in the ocean. You don't need to go for a hot girl walk. You don't need to do all these things that everyone says to be a feminine woman. You need to do this. It's not a checklist. It's a feeling. It's a feeling state. Feeling free in your life. Also feeling free in your life is having your partner be in his masculine, which is very taking the lead, being like, I've got this, babe. I'm here to help you. And this is how we can work on this dynamic. And I just think, okay, I've got to pause this episode actually. I've seen the time. I'm going to do reading at the school with my oldest daughter. So I'm so excited. I am going to come back and do this episode.
Hey guys, so I was doing a mystery reader at Scarlett's school today and oh my God, loved it so much. For us as parents, we put our name down to do it and I just filled my heart. It's actually scary reading in front of 4-year-olds. How weird is that? And because they were all looking at you, beaming, being like, oh my gosh.
And I was like, okay. It was very confronting, but loved it. It was so wholesome. Then they all wanted to come up and read and be like, can you read my book? Can you read my book? And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So it was so beautiful. And then to watch them play like a little game before we normally pick them up was really cool. So absolutely loved it. It was such a wholesome afternoon. Anyway, so as I was saying about masculine and feminine, we definitely need this in our dynamic of our relationships. What I mean by a man being in his masculine, if those are like, what the actual hell are you even talking about? Because I've never used that term before. And I completely understand that because a lot of the time we don't really hear these terms and they get thrown around a lot. There is such thing now with a lot of nuances, and I don't think that nuances aren't necessarily a bad thing. Evolution is always happening, growth is, there is these things thrown around as toxic masculinity and then toxic femininity, healthy masculine, healthy feminine. And I totally get that, but we're actually missing the point yet again that this is what everyone seems to be doing. Everyone wants to talk about, oh, it's really cool to talk about masculine and feminine. Everyone's missing the mark on them. Masculine doesn't mean that you're a man. Masculine is doing energy. Okay, so when a woman is in doing energy, we're not fun to be around. So if anyone wants to feel free to share this episode with a man because I do believe it will help them to understand us better because they don't really understand why we're not fun to be around. They always just say that we're so emotional and things like that. And I know that's how it can come across. And we have so much to understand about them. And it is really hard. Okay, so I do want to preface this in this episode. So, masculine is doing energy. If you're a mom, you're generally in masculine. There is people out there, and I have come across them. There's other people out there talking that being a mom and catering to your kids is feminine. It's actually masculine because I am being a mom myself. You're constantly in masculine mode, which is doing energy and doing all the things like doing lunches, doing school pickup and drop offs, doing out of school curriculums for the kids, doing work, doing housework, doing the cleaning, doing the washing. We're then doing the gardening if those of us have a garden and wanting to be the best wife or partner for when our significant other gets home. But because we're so doing, it puts us in a very stressed state. So that's why it's like everything needs to be done. The dishes are screaming at me. The housework's screaming at me. Like, what the hell? And this is how we can snap at our partner and be like, why the hell aren't you helping me? Blah, blah, blah. And it causes us to be in such distress. And a lot of the time when we are in distress and we're in such a stress state, we're in cortisol. So cortisol is a stress hormone that then gets released in our body and it filters through our body, and we're actually feeling really burnt out and tired. Burnout isn't just being sick and tired. Burnout can be the fact that you want to drink a lot more water, or burnout can be that you're just not really productive. You're just sort of doing your days and you also feel in a daze. You're just doing the day, like plodding along, not really getting much done because you're not completely there and present in what you're doing. And you're like, oh my God, what am I even meant to be doing right now? So that can be burnout. And then, of course, being tired all the time and you have no idea why and you're getting plenty of sleep. The body's not being able to satiate itself. You need more nutrients in your body, hydration, all of the things. And when we get to this state, doing a face mask and like having a warm bath isn't obviously going to cut it. Over time, the more times you do it, yes, it's going to satiate you. But at the end of the day, it's when do you pull back? There's this big whole thing of I'm a mom, I do this, and then I work 24/7 and like, aren't I amazing? No, doesn't make you any more amazing than someone who stays at home with their kids and is all about their kids because this is a season of life. Does not make you any more validating. And this is where we've missed the mark in society as well, where if we don't do it all, then we're not worthy, or we're deemed unsuccessful, or we're deemed not good enough. And we've really got to stop it
We get so caught up in our doing energy and our masculine because we're so stressed, and it leads to burnout. Women aren't meant to survive in like a masculine doing energy. We actually survive more obviously in feminine, which is, so when you come into your feminine energy, is that you're more relaxed, you're more freeing, you're more fun. Bless, Scarlett woke up. Okay. So as I was saying, men don't understand emotions. They don't express them often, and they don't resonate. Whereas a woman will satiate another woman because we are both think the same and we know how a woman thinks. So we will then satiate her so easily at a drop of a hat because we can see that, okay, this is what she needs. This is emotion, right? Whereas like a man trying to do that, they find it really hard. Now, I did listen to a podcast episode and I loved how this woman was saying, we just have to get used to the fact that we can support our man and he can support us, but also understanding and how this can be really freeing is that he's not going to satiate you in the way that you need to all the time. And it's about learning to be okay with that because he's not emotional. He's not the same wired like how we are, right? Again, a woman will satiate a woman straight from the get-go because she can read on what you need, right? That's how we're able to be there for our friends more, like our girlfriends. But for a man, he can't satiate you all the time. Obviously, he can help and he can try to, of course. That's with the help of us to support him, to lead, to, be more in his masculinity, to want to provide and be there, right? So we can allow them to do that. But also it's about not every single day and every moment of our life that they're going to be able to, and just being okay with that. And I found that so freeing because there is points in my relationship where he's just not understanding. And also it does play a part where whether he's like open to trying to understand. And it's not me shitting on my partner. Like I absolutely love him and adore him, and our relationship is honestly so amazing. But it's only amazing, and I can literally say that I'm so happy in it because we have moments like this. We come to each other where we're like, am I like dropping the ball? Because we don't live together. And it's going to be different when eventually that time comes. But right now, like it's hard to always feel connected. It's hard to feel satiated because talking over message and phone call, it's easy to lose a disconnect when you're caught up with like life. So I've really felt that when I asked him, I was like, oh, okay, like ouch, but totally understand. And all I can do is over time help him understand emotions and that it's really normal. And then eventually it will become his new normal because he's just so used to being like with his ex where he was with her for 4 years and she wasn't like me at all. And so she never really expressed. So that's why it's like he's also understanding and learning himself a new partner, right? So the reason why I wanted to share this is because I feel like it can look like, oh God, if he's not leading or if he's not in his masculine or he's not doing this like every online person partner is, if he's not doing those things, then I must be with the wrong person. That's how it can really be translated. And I do believe that a lot of people want to give up these days on relationships, which is really shit. And my whole point with sharing this is that it's going to look different for you in your relationship. Helping them understand, having talks, however that is and however that looks is going to be different for everyone's relationship. But everyone wants to hide away from having hard conversations. It's really hard when people are wanting to just settle and just like, I'm just so used to this comfortable hell that I'm too scared to even take the leap of faith to experience an uncomfortable heaven, because we then get caught up in our mindset that there's no such thing as an uncomfortable heaven. Like there's no other person that I'm going to be with is going to treat me better. This is the best that's going to be. And we get lost in that. You will come to like a point where it's going to be your breaking point where you're going to just be like, can't do this, right? So when you have hard conversations, because I've also had people come to me where they're like, but if you have a hard conversation and it triggers a fight, then what's the point on it? Now, hard conversations is to express yourself on this is where you're dropping the ball. No one likes to be caught out, right? Like, no one likes to be saying, hey, you need to work on this, right? Blows to our ego. We then feel like shit that we're not doing enough, whatever, okay? When you have hard conversations, it's actually meant to bring you closer in your relationship. If you don't feel like when you have a hard conversation with someone, whether that be your partner or be your friend, if it doesn't bring you guys closer and it causes like a really big argument or it actually separates you guys further, that's when you need to ask yourself if this is something that it's worth being in. And you've got to assess now different parts of your relationship, because hard conversations, like, yes, it's normal for the other person to get defensive right away. Yes, so normal, because that's a blow to the ego. We don't know how to cope with that. And it's like, but no, I'm not that person. I can definitely do this. I can do better. What are you talking about? That is a normal response. No one likes to own their stuff. No one likes to be caught out thinking that they're, quote unquote shit when that's not what's happening. You're just about saying, hey, this is how it's coming across to me. We judge people by their action and not always on their intention. And it's always about understanding their intention for things. Like with your partner, he, does an action that you don't like and you're like, fuck's sake, or whatever. Think to yourself, okay, before I get so upset about this, which obviously is easier said than done, but when we try to catch ourselves in moments, okay, when we can go from, all right, before I laugh at him or before I really take all these emotions on right now, is his intention to actually hurt me in this moment? And I will kid you not, 9 times out of 10, it's always no. He doesn't want to hurt you. His intention is always for good, or her intention is always for good. And your partner's intentions are always going to be good. Obviously, we're talking about a standard relationship, not talking about anyone being narcissists and stuff, but their intention is always going to be good. And so when their action can come across in a different way, because perception, we all have a different perception. So your partner's intention isn't always going to line up with how you're going to perceive it. He's going to think that he's coming across like that. And when he doesn't, you then need to help him understand, hey, that did not come across with your intention. Is this how you're meaning? And when you ask them a question to actually go, hey, they're like, oh shit, no, I meant this. Because a lot of the time, guys don't have any fucking clue. They're like, how are you overreacting? Because I literally did this. And that's how fights are swords, because no one's understanding that, okay, hey, did you intend for this to happen, or were you wanting this? Like, so say like, he doesn't give much back in a message and you're like, gosh, all I needed to hear is like, I love you, babe, or you're doing a great job, babe, or something, right? Sometimes it's literally just that. We need to hear that in a day. My one, sometimes when he's like, you should be proud of yourself. And I'm like, I want you to be proud of me. Like sometimes I just want him to say that, and I just want to read it or hear it, whatever. And I know it sounds so petty, but like this is literally the minor things in our day to day that literally rewording stuff instantly diffuses a lot of fucking tension in relationships. And we don't realize that. Communication is massive, guys. Like it's so crazy. Like a quick rewire or like a change of tone, a change of look can actually do so much. It can diffuse so many situations, but we don't realize that. We think it's because we have to have heart to hearts all the time, or it's because we have to, oh God, he's got to fully understand me, or she should fully understand me, and things like that. When it's actually not. It's literally about those minor moments of like a look, a glance, how their body language is, how their tone of voice comes across to you, rearranging words in a sentence can like create a totally different feel for a message. And again, it's all about perception. Now, it's not about trying to morph yourself to go, oh my God, this is a lot of work for that person to like me. They should like me for me. 100%. But this is where, like, when people say relationships take work, this is what they mean. It's not the fact that it should be hard and like draining. That's not how it should be at all. Your relationship should be easy in the sense that you get along, and when fights happen, you want to, okay, like, well, this is how it came across to me, and you want to talk it out rather than screaming in each other's face and slam a door. That's the change here. When I said sometimes I just want him to say, I want to be proud of me, but look, babe, I just need you to tell me that you're proud of me. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, cool, that's all I needed. I've said that point blank to him, and he's like, okay, shit. The more you do that and you kind of go, hey, I just kind of need to hear this from you, or, they're doing an action that you're just like, okay, is this how you're meaning? Or did you mean this, like this way? And when you do that, they're like, oh, well, no, definitely I did not mean that. I meant that. Sorry about that. I thought it came across that way. And it's like, oh, no, it didn't. It came across really abrupt, or you just seemed really annoyed at me for no reason. That is what relationships are about in work, and about working through hard moments in your lives together, hard seasons. I just think, like, society and everything, we all miss the mark on this. And I just feel like it would be so changing when we kind of make these little adjustments. And if people are literally listening, being like, this is just too hard, totally get that. Maybe just don't be in a relationship then, because what's the point if you're not willing to do the reps and you're expecting someone to already be quote unquote perfect and to satiate your needs when they've been with other people that aren't like you, right? We're all different. We're not cut from the same cloth. Like, at the same time, like, I wonder, like, my partner where he's like, oh, my ex like that or whatever, he will then kind of compare, which I totally get it. But at the end of the day, yeah, we're going to be similar. We're women. Women think alike, right? To some degree. We all have different styles and that, but to a certain degree, women all have emotions. We all express a certain way. And if you don't feel safe expressing in your partner, why are you even with them, right? That's something that we've got to, like, sort of take into account too. And that's something that I've got to always navigate. Because he's not used to emotion, it makes me want to pull back and not express my emotion in front of him. But then this is where we've got to work on it, where it's like, okay, well, I've got to express in front of him because then that's going to breach me out of my comfort zone. And then it will push him out of his comfort zone because he's going to have to learn to sort of not be as awkward because he'll be around it a lot more, right? These are just all the little things that go on and we just don't even realize. At the end of the day, we're all women. It doesn't matter, like, for the men listening, it doesn't matter what kind of woman you're with. We're all going to be similar. We're all going to like certain same style, because if you date people who are roughly around the same age, we've all been brought up in a similar era, we're going to have a similar style. Like, in the day, we're women, but we are vastly different because how we carry ourselves. That's how you're ever going to know how people are, is when shit hits the fan, how are they reacting? Anyway, guys, I really hope that this was a good episode. Listening to episodes over and over to really understand, and you can always come back to it because it's always going to be in the podcast show. But really, really excited to be launching everything soon for you guys, and I'll be able to help you guys a lot more one-on-one and in group settings and that. So I'm setting that up in the back of the house anyway. But I hope you have a beautiful day. I appreciate you guys listening. Like, share, rate the show. It always helps me get to more people because that's how we boost the algorithms of all different platforms these days. But I'll talk to you guys in another episode, and have a beautiful day.